Hello, everybody. Welcome to Profiling Evil by Mike King. A few days ago, I shared news that the Colorado Freedom of Information Coalition filed a response with Judge Patrick W. Murphy, arguing that the court's sealing of the Barry Morphew arrest affidavit shouldn't be kept from the public, adding that it's our right to inspect it. Well, the coalition leaned upon media attorney Steve Zansberg to represent the large group of outlets in the challenge. As you may recall, the judge said the Morphew arrest affidavit is the largest he's ever dealt with, and that more time was needed to inspect and redact certain information from it. Well, Zansberg argued that the affidavit's length or details are not legitimate grounds to deny the public its presumptive right to inspect it, nor is Barry Morphew's investigation of the case against him a reason for them to deny the public the access to it. They argued against the judge's citing of Colorado Rule of Criminal Procedure 55-1, which went into effect 5 days after Barry Morphew was arrested. That means the law didn't exist when the affidavit was served. Yet the judge is centering his ruling on the procedural code. Now, I'm not a lawyer and I don't intend on trying to understand whether that's right or wrong, but it appears the Freedom of Information Coalition and the media outlets representative hired the right guy to pursue this issue. You see, the Colorado Supreme Court adopted Rule 55-1 after a 2016 proposal made by none other than Zansberg as the president of the Colorado Freedom of Information Coalition. And of course, he was backed up with a 2018 series of Denver Post stories that shed light on thousands of court cases that were being hidden from public view. It seems that he knows the ruling inside and out. So that may actually mean the court may change the release date as requested. Now, here's what could make things a little sticky, though. Judge Patrick W. Murphy has been on the bench since 2013, but worked as a public defender for nearly 20 years before becoming an 11th Judicial District Judge. That's right, folks. Judge Murphy served as the head of the Colorado State Public Defender's Office in Salida. Now, I thought it would be interesting to examine his judicial scorecard. Did you know that there was even a way to do that? Well, there is. It's a study that's conducted periodically when a judge is up for retention. In Murphy's case, the last retention hearing study was conducted in 2016 by a group called Market Decisions Research, and they did it for the Colorado Office of Judicial Performance Evaluation. At that time, Judge Murphy was rated by 68 qualified survey respondents, and 50 of those who responded agreed that they had worked with Murphy enough to evaluate his performance. So the following statistics come from that core group of people who report they knew Judge Murphy really well. Here's the good news. Judge Murphy scored very high in most categories, receiving a B+ to an A grade overall. Now that's good news because it suggests that he fairly and judiciously oversees criminal cases that are assigned to him. In fact, he scored really high in case management, application and knowledge of the law, communications, diligence, demeanor, and even fairness. This retention survey indicates that Judge Murphy clearly communicates and is known for being thorough and well-reasoned. Folks, what they're saying is that we can trust him. He scored high on making sure all participants understood the court proceedings. Now, there is one area that's just a little bit questionable to me, especially in the case of Barry Morphew and whether Judge Murphy might be biased one way to the prosecution or another to the defense. The very best judges are equitable in every decision they make during a trial, always erring on the side of the law. They don't lean one way or another. Keep that in mind, and I don't want in any way for you to think that I'm questioning the judge's integrity. The data in the retention study shows that the attorneys who responded to the survey graded Judge Murphy equitably. Both sides, whether it was prosecution or defense, they felt like the judge made the fair and equitable decisions. Now, the thing that's a little bit odd is the numbers change a little when the judge is graded by members of the public. There, the public feels that the judge sided with the defense more often than he did with the prosecution. Now, should this be cause for concern? I'm going to let you decide, and I'm going to look for your answers down below. I believe Judge Morphew is fair and equitable, and that he's guided by the rule of law, not leaning one side or the other. You know, I think back on my own experience of working for a county attorney who was a public defender before he was elected. He was all about the law, and he presented cases that were solidly prepared and could stand up against scrutiny. I believe that the district attorney is going to do the same thing in this case. Now, this is one that's going to flat out boil down to whether the Colorado Freedom of Information Coalition can convince Judge Morphew that his obligation is to provide the Barry Morphew arrest affidavit to the public, regardless of how many pages it is. If you remember, they're saying 130 or more. I personally appreciate the effort of the media to get the documents released, and I wonder if the judge's initial order will stand in the coming weeks or if we might see a change. Now, here's one other thing to think about at this stage of the game. Judge Morphew has indicated that the arrest affidavit includes items that he believes Colorado rule of law will not allow to be admitted into the trial. Just yesterday, I emailed the Chaffee County clerk and I asked who signed the arrest affidavit on Barry Morphew. I received a prompt response this morning indicating that the file is sealed and they cannot release the information yet. Now, I'm going to just make an assumption here. I'm assuming that it was signed by Judge Morphew, since there are only really two judges that would be signing something like this. And Judge Morphew signed the previous arrest warrant for forgery. If that's the case, why would Morphew agree to the warrant and sign it knowing that it contains evidence that wouldn't be allowed into the trial? Again, I'm going to look for your answers down below, but this thing is continuing to offer twists and turns at every intersection. Well, thanks for listening. And please hit the like and the subscribe button. Ring the bell. That way you're going to get notified of other videos like this one. And we'll see you soon at the next crime scene.